All right. We want to welcome everyone to Sports Fan Talk on GLX Sports. I am your humble host, Big G.
I'm Raider Mike, just, doing this sports talk from a fan's perspective, and we keeping it 100% all the way real.
All right, Raider lady in the building, ready to do what we do. Let's toss it up.
And you know who it is, man, the young Art. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
All right, family, we'll be back in effect. First, I want to apologize to everyone for my disappearing act last week. Man, I had a great day, saw a longtime friend who I ain't seen in probably about a decade or so. We had a good time, and I normally don't drink the way I drink, and I didn't want to make a fool out of myself on camera because these things can be time-stamped. You know what I'm saying? It ran back and played again, so I bowed out gracefully. But I know my crew was going to hold it down because, we got some reputable sports people up in here, so I knew y'all can handle it,
No doubt.
And I thank you guys for having my back,
Of course.
Got to give you that, got to give y'all that publicly, let it be
That's what's
known.
up. We gonna hold it up, baby.
But as Snoop Dogg would say, back to the lecture at hand. You know what I mean? We're going to get into these playoffs today. We had two games, one very good game and one kind of surprising game, I would say. Most people picked the Celtics today, and man, those hot Celtics got cooled off a little bit. So we're going to jump right into that. We'll jump on the Celtics-Bucks game first, and we'll start off with Raider Later 19. Let us know your analysis of that game.
Yeah, right there. That's a hangover game for Boston. It's a lot of drilling coming off that. Even though they were actually better than Brooklyn, but still, just to be able to take KD and all the media hype out. I think they had a little bit of a hangover, and it looked like it because Giannis throwing shit off the backboard. He just kind of had his way. But like you said, Drew Holiday played downhill all game. And that to me, I like to see that from a point guard. And he was just heady. He controlled the pace. He got everybody involved. He shined. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see a person like fully mature as a basketball player, and that's what Drew's done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's controlling that team right now, like a real point guard supposed to. So yeah. So yeah. I don't know if they're gonna be able to handle them, but
I 100% agree with that analysis. 100%. Architect, what was your take on that?
I always believe in the Bucks just purely off of Giannis. I feel like Giannis is that one player in the league where he reminds me of a Shaq where he could just take over and dominate. Although he did only shoot 36% from the field, but he got his teammates involved. He had 12 assists along with 13 rebounds. And to add on to what Raider Lady was talking about, yeah, Drew Holiday, man, him stepping up, being obviously seeing that Chris Middleton isn't going to be there, at least foreseeable for this round. They have to have somebody else step up, and Drew Holiday has always been that consistent player to step up no matter where he is. Also, looking at it, I mean, the Celtics, man, they shot terribly. Only Robert Williams is the only player to shoot 50%. Everybody else shot 30% and below. You know what I'm saying? And that's as a team. You know what I'm saying? I think going forward, I think the Boston will get it together. I think it'll be a better series going forward, but definitely more of like they're like, oh, we just beat Katie and Kyrie type of thing. But don't count the Bucks out.
Okay. All right, like that. Raider Mike, what you got on it, man?
Well, only thing I got to say about it, I really didn't too much on it, but I knew that was going to happen. I knew that Giannis and it was going to come out firing and coming out playing some inspired basketball because they've been disrespected, so much this year. Like, they're like, what about us? They the defending champs, and everybody needs to recognize, open up their eyes and recognize that they still are a real basketball team that can still beat anybody in the East or the West. And I just think that they came out, to let everybody know, to establish that, to let everybody know we're still here. And they dominated them from what I heard from from the tip off to the end of the game. I mean, so only thing I have to say about it is, hey, they better look out. Boston, I mean, Boston might be the favorite. I don't know if they are or not, but after that, you see the road team the road team already I don't know which one of them has the
the road team won.
Road team.
won.
So okay, so the playoffs already started now. So ain't nothing else. I'm telling you. If they win another game in Boston, it's over. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Giannis and them in 6. That's all I gotta say about it.
Okay, well, you got an early jump on that. We're gonna get everybody's after my little spiel. But yeah, to kind of ride off what you guys are saying. Also, man, when I was watching this game, I was impressed by Bobby Portis, man. That dude, I like him. He's what I call a junkyard dog. You know what I mean? He gonna get in there, he gonna play good defense, he gonna give you rebounding, and he gonna do the little things for the team to make them successful. And he stepped up. And then I like, man, I don't know where the hell Grayson Allen come from. You know what I mean? Just out of nowhere. I'm like, bro, he ain't played all year. You know what I mean? He ain't played all year, but he continued shooting well. He is 3 of 6 from 3. He scored 11. Like I said, Portis, he had 15. So they got people stepping up in place of Middleton. And then, they served notice to Boston. And like Mike was saying, if Boston goes down 0-2, it's gonna be trouble because Milwaukee is the defending champs, and we should have known they're gonna show up. So with that said, in this series, Mike, you already said you're gonna take what? Who in 6? Who are you taking?
I'm taking Milwaukee because after that,
right?
That ass whoop.
Taking the Bucks in 6, huh? All right. Raider Lady 19, who you got?
Ooh, I forgot that Milwaukee was the champs. That's how unassuming they are. Like for real. I literally forgot that they just came off a title. But I'm gonna go with the upside. I'm gonna go with the youngsters. I'm gonna go with Kobe 2.0. I'm gonna see what the Boston's can do.
Kobe
What they made of.
2.0.
I'm gonna go with them. See what they can do.
And how many?
7.
7. Ooh, okay.
Was
Architect
1.5 today.
Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take Boston in 6. I'm gonna take Boston in 6, man. I think Jason Tatum gonna step up. He's emerging.
I like the Celtics too. I'm gonna take them in 7. I think it's gonna go 7 games, and I think the Celtics will get them, man. I think Celtics is 7. And then we're gonna roll.
That's crazy. Only one that's not disrespecting the defending champs is
know,
Mike.
Right?
Y'all disrespecting them.
We were
Man,
just
everybody
saying,
disrespect. Y'all all
champs,
disrespect.
That's true.
Y'all all disrespectful. And y'all
So true.
They with the butt spanking with their pants down.
Hey,
that's true. Real true.
The Bucks may do what they're supposed to do. Speaking of a team, that season that did well today, you know what I'm saying? Had the Warriors. Warriors tiptoed their way up there.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Had me at the edge of my damn seat.
They had Yo Gotti up in the crowd watching the game. You know what I'm saying?
I went to DM.
Had Josh Daddy high-fiving everybody up and down the sidelines. Ooh, what you got to say about this one, Architect? I know you watched the whole game, right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, man. First off, I want to talk about that BS flagrant call that they called on Draymond. They called it a flagrant 2. Yeah, I don't think it was a flagrant 2. I agree with what his mom said, what she tweeted out. If it was a flagrant 2, if it was on purpose, his face would have hit the floor. And Draymond saved that man from going face first into the floor. But all be that, I mean, the big surprise for me, the Warriors out-rebounded the Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was 47-51. Not by much, but you could definitely see in the last possession, and it was really the offensive rebounds. Offensive rebounds really helped us out, really helped us clutch up that game. All in all, you know what I'm saying, it's not something that I think we should worry too much about. Obviously, Steph was in foul trouble. Clay had a bad shooting night. Gary Payton II, that man shot 80%. He only missed 1 shot. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Poole, he continues to, he's showing up in the playoffs, man. It looks like this is like what he's been waiting for. His coming out party, if you will.
Yeah.
John Morant did John Morant things. I knew he was gonna score. I knew he was gonna, you know what I'm saying, kind of carry his team as far as that. But biggest thing, which always been the Warriors, kryptonite, them turnovers, man. You gotta cut down on the turnovers if you want to go deep into the playoffs, and they know that. And honestly, I think I think it showed, man. I think it showed that that experience that the Warriors have, even though losing Draymond so early, like 17 minutes into the game. I think, you know what I'm saying? I think the Warriors will be all right going forward, especially still in that first home game in Memphis.
Yeah. All right. I like that. Raider Lady 19. What you got for me?
Yeah. Grizzlies. They should beat them, like, straight up. I think player for player, I think they're more athletic. I think they're more talented player. If I had to go player for player down the roster, right? The thing is, Golden State, they got two of the most prolific shooters ever to touch a basketball in this generation. You know what I'm saying? Not even past this generation, but you know what I'm saying? I don't like the way they play. I don't like nothing about Golden State from a standpoint of a basketball aficionado. I'm just surprised people don't attack them. I think people play passive against Golden State. I never understand why people don't just take it straight to the chest of Stephen Curry. I'll never understand it. Take it right at his chest every time. And they don't. And to me, and that could be the Achilles of this young team. I don't expect Brooks to shoot 1 from 11 or 2 for whatever he was. We had a horrible game. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going. I just, Warriors are small, but they got savvy and they got moxie and they understand what it takes to win. But shout out to Jordan Poole real quick. I wanted to say this, Jordan Poole, to me, that's an expression of what it means to be an athlete. That means you get better every single year. I was always taught that you get better every single year. So I love to see that. That's art form to me. That's like sports is art to me. So to be able to see that young man come out and find himself and play with that level of confidence, and he doing whatever the hell he wants to, that's art. He's in his artistry mode right now. So shout out to Jordan Poole. But I like Memphis.
Okay, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it. Raider Mike. What do you think about them there Warriors?
I'm gonna say this though. I mean, I know me and her both Laker fans, but the thing is, anyway, what I want to say, we both Laker fans, but let's just keep it 100. Like I said, all the way real. Let's not go for Memphis, because them bastards are not winning. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Let's get that out the way. I'm not a Warrior fan, but let's get that out the way right now. Taking it to Steph's chest, I'm gonna tell you what, Memphis, I don't care what they do. Take it to his chest, take it to his vest. Whatever they do, they're not winning. And they lost that game that they should have won. If they could have had action to win, the Warriors let them get back and forth in this damn game, these turnovers. So if the Warriors cut turnovers, Memphis ain't got a damn chance. I don't care if Morant is there. I don't give a damn if Devin Brooks is there. I don't care if it's old Bane from Batman is there. You know, the Bane dude they got. I mean, they don't have a better team than the Warriors. They don't have better shooters. They haven't been to the playoffs like the Warriors have been. Warriors got all that experience. The Warriors have the players that know how to win close games or win.
Yeah, that's their core.
Memphis don't have
3 players who know how to do that on that team.
No, Iguodala when he's playing.
Iguodala ain't gonna play. He ain't gonna step on the court.
He
ain't gonna step on the court this whole series.
I told you, and I'm gonna tell you so. When they get through mopping the floor with their ass, we gonna say what's up. At that point, you got Jordan Poole, you got Curry, you got Klay Thompson, you got Wiggins. You want me to tell me they don't have better players?
Sometime. You talking about Mr. Sometime.
Let me tell you what this game is about. It's about defense. It's about D'ing their ass up. And that's what's going on here. That's what's gonna happen.
Put the
That's why the
pressure
Warriors
on
beat
their
them.
ass. You go
Warriors
right
have
up they
better-
chest. They got a
Warriors
team
have
full
a
of
better
bird
defense.
chest over there.
Warriors have a better defense. The Warriors have a better defense. They have better shooters, better team. I don't care about Memphis finishing in front of them. Just like I told you, Greg, remember I was telling you, said it don't matter. The Warriors beat the Rockets like that. They dominate the Warriors all year. Guess what? The Rockets got swept by the Warriors. So I'm just keeping it real. And I'm not a Warrior fan. I'm a Laker fan. I'm a diehard Laker fan. And what I've seen, what they're doing, they're gonna keep doing it. You say, he's just like gonna say, I'm just like what's his name, Jeannie Lamp. He said, they're gonna do their business and keep on doing it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Memphis. I can't lie. When Memphis was playing Minnesota, you asked me which one I want. I was like, man, I'd take Minnesota from Memphis. Memphis scares me, man. Not just the fact that they had us 3-1 in the regular season, but man, it's a team full of young tigers. You know what I mean? But the thing that they got exposed for in that Minnesota series is like they played dumb basketball. You know what I mean? Like a lot. They have very talented players. They can get streaky, but like today, man, when the hell Jaren Jackson bust out 33 points against anybody? You know what I mean? It's crazy because he's a big, and that's the Warriors' kryptonite. If you got a big that can get down, Jokic and his cousins, you know what I mean? They kind of exposed this. I mean, people know already though. You can go big on us, but you have to be big and athletic. But Jaren Jackson go for 33. I'm like, God, what the hell? And then Morant, he went for 34, doing his regular thing. But the thing that killed Memphis, Brooks only had 8, Bane only had 9. And then, Anderson would come off the bench and give him something. He only had 2 points. So all their role players didn't do nothing. And they were at home and they didn't do anything. So I think in this case, we have the 2 elite players in the series. You know what I mean? Ja Morant, he's elite, but he ain't ready yet. You know what I mean? He's young. He'll get there. You know what I mean? He's on his way, and he may get them a game, maybe even 2. I see the Warriors in 6 in this. You know what I mean? Maybe even 5. But just if Memphis does not play smart basketball. And kudos to the Mitten. He don't like being called that, but I'll say GP2. You know what I'm saying? Boy, he bothers Morant when he guards him. You know what I mean? Just enough. And then he's always around the ball. At the end of the game when we needed those loose balls. Matter of fact, Raider lady, you said they got to take it to Curry's chest. Yep. Morant took it to his chest at the end of the game. Remember, he blocked his shot. You know what I'm saying?
He lost the ball on the way up, though. But he was already fumbling when he went up, but it's all good.
He got a piece. So I think we're just too veteran for them. Mm-hmm. I think in next year, the year after that, man, NBA better beware of Memphis. I think if they get a veteran or 2 that let me see, just a nice veteran. You know what I mean? A solid one that can kind of control, just slow them down at times. They need to slow down. They'll be all right, but this ain't their year. So I'll start this one off I'll take the Warriors in 6. Raider lady, you seem like I think you want to pick Memphis in this. You know
yeah. I got Memphis in 6. Straight up set. I'm rolling.
No.
I roll the dice. It's all good.
Yes. Raider Mike, who you got, man?
Oh man, they're gonna be saying goodbye so soon and beat them like a crime. You don't know where I got that from. You remember what movie was that? But anyway, I got the Warriors, and I'm gonna take them in 6, and that's the Fox and the Hound movie. When old, I don't know if y'all remember that movie, but that's what's gonna happen. Okay, Warriors in 6. I gotta take the Warriors. I mean, I'm you gotta leave the hate alone and just go ahead and let these boys go on and do what they do. Because like I said, that old butter making good cake. So hey.
Okay. Architect.
Got the Warriors in 5.
Damn,
all right.
You got 5.
Hey, if they get this next game, boy, that could happen.
It might be the They get the first two. The broom coming out. Spit on the broom and
I must say, they go down there too. The probability go way up.
Yeah. I'm gonna take. Okay, we got 2 more to go. 2 more games starting tomorrow, opening up. I'll take what I think will be the lesser of the 2 series. I don't know, a little West Coast bias, but 76ers Heat. They're going down tomorrow. You know, I like the Suns Mavs series better, but we'll go 76ers Heat next. We'll start this one off. Let's see. All right, Architect, start us off. What do you think is going to go down in this series?
76ers and Heat. I'm going to make it quite simple. James Harden is known to choke in the playoffs. I think Miami going to take that one in 5.
Oh, we going. That's it. Short and sweet, huh?
Short and sweet. I don't care if Joel Embiid play. He got an orbital fracture. He ain't going to be using that. They ain't going to be using him that much.
Oh, wow. Raider Mike, what you think? You got some analysis for us, or when you just gonna go straight into?
I'm just gonna tell you, I mean, Miami still ain't. I'm not impressed by Miami. I never have.
What?
No, because they ain't shit. They ain't going to the finals. That you think they are, bastards not going. They're not going. What do you think about them? They're not going. So I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm taking the 6s and 7s. I don't like Miami.
Okay.
They're fighting amongst each other, fighting, hollering, screaming at the coach, all that bullshit they had going on. Get the hell out of here.
They was having a little fun.
Get out of here. Get the hell out of here, Miami.
Hey.
Miami.
Okay.
No, they're gonna be calling them Miami after this series.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Shots fired. Woo! Well, I'll go next for this one. We'll save the best for last on this and let Raider Lady go last on this one. Man, I like Miami. I like Miami kind of all year long. It's like a little sleeper team, just from them being kind of deep. You know what I mean? And then whenever Duncan Robinson give them real good minutes and good points, then they really get down. You know, I like their toughness. You know, with old buckets over there giving them them hardcore playoff minutes. And don't forget, he going back up against the 76ers team, you know what I mean? He gonna stick it to him a little bit. You know what I mean? I like Adebayo, you know, there's no Embiid for maybe a game or 2, you know, and if he does play, sure gonna have that little mask over his face, so maybe not as effective. But you know, the 76ers got Maxey, Harden, Harris, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to step it up. And I don't like Harden in the playoffs. He got something to prove. You know, I would love to see his game translate to some winning basketball, but
it doesn't.
So far, it's just regular. It's regular season highlights.
People forgetting Coach Spo versus Doc Rivers. I take Spo.
You know, it's just I think, and Spo has old Slick behind him. You know what I mean?
He got old Pat Riley.
Boy, got Pat Riley behind him, coaching him from his back. Shit,
you know what I'm saying? Pat giving it up. So
that's why
I'm gonna take. Let's see. I'm gonna take the Heat in 6. You know what I mean? And go like that, and then we go to the grand finale on this one. Raider Lady 19. Who do you like?
Oh man, I don't like nothing about Doc Rivers, but I really don't.
You like how shiny his head be during the games?
Oh, man, he cried too much for me. But I'm gonna call it the baby factor. The baby. All right. If the baby is away from James Harden, I think he might redeem himself in this series. I ain't saying they winning no title because I don't rock with. I don't think they got grit. So. But I'm calling the baby factor. If the baby ain't nowhere around James Harden, he's going to take this opportunity to redeem himself. So I'm saying Sixers and 7. Sixers and 7 with James Harden finding.
All right. I like that.
A little bit of left behind in 2017. In 2017, like 2017 Harden, I think he got one more in him. He know all eyes is on him. All eyes on him. All eyes on him. This is legacy right here, even whether you know it or not. This series,
right.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
100%.
Right now.
You're right. You're right. I like
How old
that.
is he? 32?
Yeah, he
I
getting
think
up
so.
there, and his
He up
his
there.
game, it's not going to
You
translate
see,
with
right?
age.
The seal. You at the ceiling, bro. You at your ceiling.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
I
so
like that.
I'm saying, but the baby got to be away from him.
Mm.
If the baby is around, he ain't doing it because he loved the baby. I'm just saying in many ways.
Ooh wee, the baby.
So this is the baby factor. But
Mm.
I'm
Okay,
gonna go with
okay.
them in this series. They not winning no title though.
Okay. I like that.
Mm.
Now we're gonna come to the final game or the final series on deck. See who can go to the Western Conference Finals. You got the Mavs and the Suns beating up. Now throughout the season, the Suns blanked them 3-0, but that was when they was fully packed. So, right now, Book, he's back, but clearly that hamstring is bothering him a little bit because he wasn't regular Booker last game. And his hamstring bothers him off and on. So we'll see how he is for this first game of the series. But Raider Mike, what do you think about this series and who do you got?
Tell you right now, Dallas ain't going nowhere. So let's get that out the way right now. Let's get that out there right now. I'll take Phoenix. Phoenix is a better team. They're better defensively. The bigs are better. The whole team is better. And they're going to win because they're better. Bottom line is they're going to win 4-2. I'll take Phoenix. I mean, they're not ready yet. I mean, Jason Kidd has done a great job with them Dallas Mavs. I salute him for that, but he's going to be on that fishing boat with Kenny and Shaq and Ernest after this series. So get your fisherman's hat, get your tackle box, and throw your line in the water because you guys are going there.
Yes.
Heard it
I
from me.
like that. Let me step up to the plate next, man. I'm with you on that. I like the Suns in this series. I think all this damn elevating Luka to Larry Bird status right now shit is kind of getting on my nerves.
He's
He
man.
ain't
better.
Larry. He ain't Larry. He ain't Larry
Come on,
Bird
man.
right now.
He ain't Larry, man. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong.
Architect said he better.
You know what I'm saying? He
Hey.
ain't out his damn mind. Boy,
He said
Larry.
he's better.
I'm kidding. I'm
Boy,
kidding. That's a
I'm about
Not
to
joke.
right
say.
now.
They'll
About
be
to say,
Maybe
you
in
better.
better
4
look at some of
years.
them
Maybe.
old highlights.
Hey, look,
I mean,
I don't watch some Larry Bird highlights. That man was
hey,
different.
bruh, and Larry Bird played in the 80s, man. It took a lot
Hey,
for a white dude to get the respect of black
if
players in
Larry's
that
back
time.
didn't give out on him, we'd be a whole different conversation.
I know Larry just had that glass back like Tony.
Yeah.
So.
But even with that glass back, that boy was a legend. You know,
Yeah.
Larry
Yeah, he
legend.
was.
You know
Lay
what
it
I'm
on the
saying?
floor, get up and drop 40 on you. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
Hey,
but
hey.
as far as this whole Luka, you know what I mean? I think he's good, but I think instead of elevating him to Bird status, what they're doing is putting a target on his back, man. They're making other players like that are maybe similar in talent or maybe not as talented look at him and be like, why is he getting all this dap? Like, why is the focus so much on him? They're already calling him the greatest European player. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, give this dude some time.
He is
But,
better than
with that-
Drazen Petrovic when they got that killed in that damn car
That's
accident.
right.
I still say
Exactly.
Drazen
Drajan
Petrovic
was the man.
best European
Right,
player
exactly.
I've seen play basketball.
That's right.
Offensively, and none of them could touch him defensively because he was a good defender. No.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I'm with you guys. I think Kidd, man, he's coaching his ass off. He's doing a great job with this team. I would like to see if they had a Hardaway playing. You know what I mean? That would be better for them. But I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know, his injury, what his extent of his injury is or whatever. But all that said, man, I think the Suns have enough to take them out. I think the Suns will get them in 6. Raider Lady 19. What do you think?
Yeah, shout out to J Kidd, man. J Kidd was one of my childhood inspirations. One of them outside of yourself and a couple of others. But I used to go watch him play at St. Elizabeth's when he played for St. Joe's, and I wore 32 as a homage to him in my early career. So, yeah, Shout out to J Kidd, but they ain't winning though. At the end of the day, they ain't winning though. Yeah. It's just Phoenix. I don't really like Phoenix much either, but they just got too many players. I don't think they need Hardaway. They need Hardaway.
Yeah.
If he's not 100%, if he can't give them what he's been giving them throughout the course of the season, they don't compete. Not like they should. So I got Dallas in 6. I don't have nothing much to say about them because
Dallas in 6.
I mean, no, I'm sorry, Phoenix in 6. I'm my bad.
Correction.
Yeah. It's the Bacardi. But yeah, I got Suns in 6. Yeah, they're not ready. But Jason, this is good for him. It's good for his coaching career because it might lead to something else. I don't know if he's going to stay because he might want something a little bit bigger. So I'm happy for him. It's a redemption story for J Kidd.
Yeah. Yep. And, it's a good thing he's doing with the Mavericks, too. He won a title with them. So, putting in some work for them,
All right.
Architect, are you going to make it a clean sweep or are you going to go against the grain?
I'm going to have to flip the script on y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. I don't think it's not because of Luka. People obviously the Suns, there was a 3-0. They beat them, in the season series 3-0. But that was before they made that trade and traded away Kristaps. Now, if you look at it if you look at the Mavs after they traded Kristaps, they've played better team basketball. You know what I'm saying? You look at they had Davis Bertans, who's like a stretch four in a way, even though that position has completely disappeared from the NBA. He can also grab you rebounds. You look at Spencer Dinwiddie, who is a walking bucket. People don't want to give him his credit. That man is a bucket. He can get you some points. And then on top of that, yeah, Jalen, what's that boy? Jalen Brunson. Woo-wee.
Oh yeah,
that boy, nice. You know what I'm saying?
He playing for a contract.
Yeah, he playing himself into a contract. That's true.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And as much as Phoenix is a well put together team, Jason Kidd, that team that he inherited, that team is a hell of a team as well. They're just Luka is just the forefront of that team. You know what I'm saying? They have that number one star that they look to. And Luka's going to be Luka. He's going to get his points, his rebounds, his assists, whatever. But I think the surprising thing, you're going to see other players step up like they have been, like Dallas did, like they did in the series beforehand. I think Dallas is going to take this in 7.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, G, Phoenix is not Utah, but
that's okay.
I'm gonna put I'm writing this in ink, so I can't erase it for you. I'm sorry.
Booker.
That's okay.
They got Kobe 4. That's Kobe 4.0 right there. If you want to be technical, Booker. So let's just get it out.
All right now.
But it's a one-legged Booker.
No matter, one-legged Booker can still score.
We gonna see.
Right. Okay, we're gonna mosey this little thing right along, man. We're gonna go into the NFL draft. We just had the draft that passed this week. Started Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some teams got rich. New York Jets look like they got rich.
They did.
Jets did a little something.
They did. They had a good little draft.
I said they had a long way to go. They look like they laid down some stuff. Since I'm surrounded by Raiders fans,
Raiders don't even have a draft this year for real. It's all right.
I know. I'm interested to see what you guys got to say about the draft, about your team, all the other teams, what they got going on. Raider Mike. You're a draftologist. Tell me something, man.
Well, like the Raiders, they did what they had to do in the draft. They drafted those 6. We had 6 picks still, so we did our thing. We got the Dalen Parham was a Memphis defensive tackle, and then they got the running back, which was a surprise. I didn't know we was going to get a running back. Zamir White from Georgia, and then we got the D lineman Neil Farrell Jr. From what was
LSU, baby.
LSU. That was LSU.
You're right.
He was from LSU. No, I know where he's from. I was looking at the other dude, what is his name? Matthew Butler is from Tennessee, a defensive tackle. So we went 2 defensive tackles. And you remember I've been always saying this about the Raiders. We need a defensive tackle, 350, 340 pound defensive tackles that just eat up blockers. So that way them linebackers can flow and make these tackles. And then they what else did they do? They went up, they got some Thurman Ford Jr. He was another D lineman from Ohio State. And then we got another running back, Britton Brown from UCLA. So we getting all these running back insurances. You know, that make me kind of like, well, hey, I hope y'all not thinking about saying we're not going to sign Josh Jacobs next year. But, you know, you always have to back up, have some replacements. But other than that, I think the Raiders did what they had to do in the draft. They addressed the needs, and they got a guard, which he could play. The Memphis dude is so versatile, he could play center too. So that was a plus. So just in case if we have to, Andre James get hurt or anything, we could throw him right in there. And if he's a better center, we might flip the other one over the guard. Now, who knows? I don't know, but I like what we did. I mean, we didn't have no first round pick. We didn't have a second round pick. Don't matter. What we got in return, I'm happy as hell. What we got in return, you get, like I said, Devontae gonna go Grizzly on the NFL Adams. Like I said, period. He got back with his boy. I mean, you know, hey, and then we got the challenge. Come on, man. We didn't even have to have a draft. We could have been like Mike Dick and just said, smoked a cigar and then walked up out of there.
No, Mike Dick is fucked up.
He was stupid. That was a dumb thing what he did.
I don't know about all that, man.
But we still had things that we had to get, and we addressed what we needed to get in the draft. But now, if we're talking about just the Raiders, or we talking about other teams that did good in the draft, the first day I give it to the Jets and the Giants. Both of them drafted well the first day. You know, the first day don't really count to me because I feel like this. First day is easy. That's easy. You're picking the best player on your board in the first round. You know, that one to me is easy. What's the hardest draft is when you go from the second and the third. What really matters is the fourth, fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh. To me, if you really think about it, that's when you know how good you draft. And the Baltimore Ravens are still the king of the drafts. And Belichick is not. Baltimore Ravens draft well. They got all them picks, got them first round picks. Baltimore Ravens, they draft well. And I give them an A+ in their draft for sure. And I give the Jets, I mean, as far as day one and day two, they did well. And the Giants did well. But, you know, like I told you, it don't start, your draft don't start till you get to the fourth round. Because you really got to start picking up players, Gregory. I don't know what Dallas did now. You know your boys, I'm going to criticize them a little bit. They didn't know, but they did go get the offensive lineman that they're supposed to first. Because they need to keep the quarterback upright, Gregory. I know you was kind of panicking a little bit, but I know you was over there panicking. They got a wide receiver out of there too.
Come on, man. You know what? I paid no attention to the draft this year.
Oh, you didn't?
Man.
Oh, you just want to be surprised, huh?
I got some, you know, I did my little due diligence for the show, but
since
the
you
Cowboys,
didn't get John Watson, you just said forget it. Huh?
The Cowboys send me in freaking a whole nother dimension. So I was just like, after I saw the first pick, I was like, I'm not watching no more, man. No,
okay. Well, they did all right, but anyway, that's all I have to say. And then, unless everybody can't get no grades right now. I damn sure ain't getting the Chargers no way.
Nah, we gonna hold off on that. We're gonna see that in a minute, you know. But,
okay, we'll go. Oh, I'm done.
Okay, that was nice. That was nice. Raider Lady 19. What'd you think about this draft this year?
Yo, I don't care about no other team but the Raiders. But I will say this about this draft though, because of how things shaked out in the and how it was deep but thin. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was thin in a certain way, but it allowed a lot of really good players to fall back.
Yeah.
People who had second round grades going to the third and fourth round. And
Malik Willis didn't deserve that though.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Malik Willis, just because he come to that small black college. See,
that
Liberty? Small college.
No, it's not. Yeah, small college.
Small college. Yeah.
Small. It's not a black college, but it's a small college.
Yeah, Liberty 1AA. Yeah, so a lot of players fell back, including, like you said, Malik. But the Raiders did great, man. I must say, I'm for real. Like, they did really they did well. You know what I'm saying? They addressed what they needed to. And I'm going to say this about Josh. I understood why they didn't pick up that fifth-year option on Josh. If you watched him last year, there was a moment when they went through that little slump right after
I gotta
Here we
disagree.
got into a
I gotta
situ- had a
disagree with you on that.
situation.
You're talking about Josh Jacobs.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. Then you can come at me.
Let her
Let me
land. Let her land.
He had moments I saw expressionally on the sideline where he really wasn't fucking with his teammates. He had, I don't know what that was due to. I don't know if he was going through his own thing. I don't know if he was upset about Henry. I don't know. But he had a moment where he was distant, and I seen that shit. I seen how he interacted with his teammates, and I didn't take too kind to that. You know what I'm saying? Because he means so much to this team, but he did pick it up and he carried them into the playoffs with his run. Then he ran like that boy we've been seeing run. So I understood why they didn't pick up the fifth year option. If you really want to know why they didn't do it, you can thank Ezekiel Elliott, you can thank Todd Gurley, you can thank Le'Veon Bell for why his fifth year option didn't get picked up. Right?
Exactly.
So they want to see they want to see where his head at. I think it's mind games. I really do think it's mind games with him, not Clee, not Abrams, but with him.
Yeah, testing his mental for surely.
He still got his leg.
Everybody like, oh, they dispose of their running backs. You know, they run through running backs. But remember, if we want to pair it New England, there was a year, at least 4 years, where Corey Dillon was the running back and was that dude. So I'm like, if they got somebody who can tote, then Josh is gonna tote. I think they just want to see what he gonna do this year.
Yeah.
How you gonna? I mean, you got to run with intention, mean intention, and I think he'll get an extension. I got faith in Josh. I like Josh. I think when it came to them youngsters to come in, they need the competition. You don't know how. Which the boy that came from Arizona, who I like too, Drake. We don't know how he's gonna come off the knee. We don't know how he's gonna come off the knee. You brought the boys over from New England. They're older too. So I understood why they drafted the two backs. You know what I'm saying? So I understood that, and I love the Parham because he can play all the way through, and he got great feet. I like to see alignment with feet, how you can pop up out that stance, and I like the way he put together. You know what I'm saying? He's 300, a solid 300, athletic 300, and I like that boy. I just thought with Graham coming over, they got the kind of tackle that they needed. And like Mike said, they needed a tackle for a long time. They ain't had a dominant tackle even since Tommy Kelly. You know what I'm saying? So I like what they did all the way around. And then they brought in some more help with the offensive line. And I like the undrafted people they brought in. You know, they brought in a burner. They brought in two big offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and two linebackers for depth to go against Diablo, Divine, and the rest of them. I just like what they did. They got it planned and they executing. I like to see that shit. Shout out to the Raiders.
Oh, good. Nice breakdown.
But like I said, let me get about the Josh Jacobs thing. That crummy ass offensive line couldn't block at a block party last year. I don't care if they had injuries. And I would be pissed too if I'm running behind shit and I can't get there. There's no holes there. There's no holes to run through. And
he has some holes now. Come on now. He has some holes. They didn't
yards. Their holes was not there. You must not been seeing what I see.
Shitty now. They got better. On the offensive line got better as the year went on. There was youngsters now. Come on now. They got better.
Pass blocking was good. Run blocking shitty.
I agree. I mean, they wasn't up to par run blocking, but they opened up some holes though.
But you can't compare him to none of those other running backs because his legs ain't dead yet. Those guys.
I'm gonna just throw this in here. I don't want to eat up too much time, but I follow Josh. I don't mess with Instagram, but there's certain athletes that I follow on Instagram. Josh was one of them from day one. I've seen the evolution of his personality through what he do on social media because it's very telling. So what I'm saying is, I didn't want to see where his head is at in this last year. They could have gave that money. You want to see if he has another baby mama before the season starts, huh?
Yeah, I know that fool got enough baby mamas.
Oh man, look at that.
Damn, they got more babies than what's his name than old boy what's his name?
Cromartie?
No, what's his name? No, he got
ain't
all
nobody topping Cromartie.
Quarterback Rivers. Philip Rivers got about 12, 10 or 11.
But the thing is, it's all by one woman.
One woman.
I hate to say it, but my brothers, they spread it around, man.
They to spread they seed.
No, the brothers like to spread the wealth around.
They're like, yeah, I got 3 babies named Greg, and they're all born in 1970. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all 3 got a second and a third and a fourth. You know what I'm saying? man. Anyway, Architect, what do you think about this draft this year?
Honestly, this draft, I like to switch up. You know what I'm saying? I like a solid defensive draft. Although I do tend to more like, offensive players, and I like watching the high scoring and whatnot. I like seeing a nice little flip. It's the first time since 1991 that I think the top 5 players were all defensive players. You know what I'm saying? My big shock was the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Trayvon Walker #1, because he wasn't even the best D lineman on Georgia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's just a product of being, basically single covered the entire time. The man had 4 sacks like this season. And they said, and what's it called? They put up Aiden Hutchinson's numbers versus Trayvon Walker. Aiden Hutchinson had in one season what Trayvon Walker had his entire career. You know what I'm saying? And then that leads me to Detroit. Detroit not taking a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They took Aiden Hutchinson at 2. Obviously, I knew he was going to go 1 or 2. But then to trade up, I thought they were trading up to get a quarterback. But they took Jameson Williams. So in my mind, Dan Campbell is like, I could win some games with Jared Goff. He saw something in Jared Goff where he's like, all right, I could do something with you. But also at the same time, just in case.
One little side note, I think the Rams would won a Super Bowl this year, even if they had Jared Goff, man. I don't think what's his name was the difference, man.
And I agree. My thing is this.
Different.
I think people look down on Jared Goff because obviously he lost that Super Bowl, but then he lost to Tom Brady, #1, and then #2, Sean McVay didn't believe in him. Dan Campbell, clearly, Dan Campbell making the moves that he did in this draft, he believes in Jared Goff. Taking Jameson Williams, trading up for him, that gives him another weapon inside Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift, the running back, TJ Hawkinson, the tight end. Like, Dan Campbell is building a team of people who, they're grinders. You know what I'm saying? What he said in his press conference, we're going to bite him in the knee or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Dan Campbell is building his team of how they said how when Gruden came back, they're talking about Gruden's grinders. Dan Campbell has his own Dan's grinders or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I like the attitude. Let's hope it pays dividends.
I hope it does. I hope it does. I think the surprising thing for me was the Texans taking Derek Stingley. I know Lovie Smith is a defensive coach, but I thought he was going to go edge. I thought maybe Kayvon Thibodeau was going to go 3, but it's good to see a cornerback go top 3, especially Derek Stingley, who was really good. Sauce Gardner going to to the Jets. Hey, man, big city. He belonged in one of the 2 New York teams in my eyes just because of his personality. You know what I'm saying?
Walking by yourself.
Kayvon Thibodeau, who I thought was the best defensive lineman defensive lineman in the draft, he falls to 5 to the Giants. Perfect for him. Another big personality in New York. Another one that surprised me for real was Drake London being their first receiver off the board.
Yeah, surprised us both.
I know he's coming off an injury, but I knew before that they basically were saying he was going to be the #1 receiver. And I don't pay attention to USC. I could really care less about USC, to be honest. But surprising that, it wasn't Chris Olave or Jameson Williams or any of these other guys to go first, and Atlanta taking him, it's like, okay, cool. I see, you know what I'm saying? I see that they don't want to, obviously because they don't have Calvin Ridley this year, they wanted another Calvin Ridley type player. And Drake London does remind me of a Calvin Ridley. He can get in and out of his breaks, decent speed. The biggest surprise to me in the first round, what the hell was Bill Belichick doing taking that boy out of Tennessee Chattanooga?
They clowned him for that.
Yeah, Cole Strange. The Rams was talking about, we had him ranked 143 or some shit like that.
They laughed at him.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But then again, hey, Bill Belichick, you do what you got to do. And then Kenny Pickett, obviously being the first quarterback taken off the board. I think that was more so of upper management saying, let's get the hometown kid, quote unquote. Because I think Mike Tomlin, if he had his choice, personally, I don't think he would have picked Kenny Pickett. I think he would have been I think he would have took a Malik Willis, or I think he would have took Malik Willis, but Kenny Pickett being the most NFL ready, it makes the most sense because the Steelers, if you look at the Steelers past, they've never really been in a situation where they haven't had a quarterback per se. You know what I'm saying? They've always had that successor to a certain degree, at least, you know, in Mike Tomlin's. Well, Mike Tomlin, he's only had Ben Roethlisberger, but Tommy Maddox, I think. But I think Kenny Pickett was good. I think he'll come in and be a day one starter for Pittsburgh. Other than that, man, I think it was overall good draft. I think the Raiders did good. Shit, the Raiders got the best receiver in the league. That's all I care about.
Yeah, okay. I like that, man. You know, I'll do just a quick little snippet on my boys, man. I didn't like the first pick. You know what I'm saying?
They took the tackle?
They took Tyler Smith. He was not the top tackle they could have took at that time. You know what I mean? I hate the fact that, you know, it's in Dallas, so they'll fuck around and take somebody from Tulsa or somebody, you know what I mean? Just take a Southern boy.
You know what I mean? Take somebody from Arkansas.
Like, come on, man, dude. Like, let's get the top of the top. But where they kind of don't miss at, I like the 56 pick. I like they took Sam Williams out of Ole Miss. You know, he had 12 and a half sacks, you know what I mean? And that boy, he can rush the quarterback. So I saw they addressed the need. You know what I'm saying? Randy gone, so there's like, hey, we got to replace that. And then they got the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year in the wide receiver, Jalen Tolbert. And he could take the top off of defense. So I like that. Even following that up, I think we're tight end rich already. You know what I'm saying? For Jarwin, Schultz, you know what I'm saying? We had tight ends, but they took a tight end next with the 129th pick, Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin. You know, Wisconsin they always have the cornbread fed, big linemen, big tight ends. So I couldn't be mad at that. You know what I mean? The rest of their stuff, I'll look at it. We'll see how it goes. But as far as the overall draft, like I was saying, man, I like what the Jets did for that boy Saleh. You know what I mean? They took let me see. They took Sauce Gardner for, you know, they got the best corner in the draft. Then they got Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. Many think he's the best receiver in the draft. And then they got somebody who kind of dipped down just because of, I don't know, maybe some questionable offensive, or not offensive, but off the field stuff. Jermaine Johnson, that pass rusher out of Florida State. That boy can get to the quarterback. You know what I mean? So the Jets did good. I'll give them that. And then you had Georgia with the most picks in history. In the draft, they had 15 picks in the draft. And I was just like, geez. You know, then was it 6 of the first 18 picks were wide receivers? I mean, we know the what is it? They call it the middle of the day. You know what I mean? Wide receivers. So everybody, offense is where it's at.
Right.
You know, everybody want to throw the ball around. This draft was deep in wide receivers, and many of them got took. Like G said, yeah, Drake London, yeah, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, and my personal favorite, who I think may be better than all of them, I love Jahan Dotson, man, out of Penn State. That boy is a playmaker. That boy, I watched him in games. I watched him be the difference maker in many games. Like Olave, Wilson, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but Ohio State had riches. You know what I mean? Ohio State got players all over the place. Penn State, you know, they're traditionally a good program, but they have players here, players there. You know what I mean?
Shit, Micah.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. You get a Micah Parsons from last year. I think the scary thing for me is he plays with the Commanders. They're in our division, so I do not like that. But you know,
but they got Carson Wentz throwing on the ball. Yeah,
hey man, he might make Wentz look good, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers is a bad dude, but your boy over there, they got traded to the Raiders, made him look a lot better. You know what I mean? All he had to do was throw
Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones is a major upgrade from Yannick, and Yannick was cool, but Chandler, he want to redeem himself too.
But Yannick led us. I like that.
Right, he want to redeem himself too. People talking that talk. Well, he had 5 in one game. He finished with 4. For the remainder of the season. Let me tell you, that whole team imploded over there in Arizona. They had a lot of internal strife over there.
Yeah.
That's a grown ass man that's coming over here to the Raiders, and I don't think he needed out of that environment, and so he gets to start anew. He got a relationship with the boy on the other side. They handled business for the first time in a long time. They have a young brain trust. I cannot remember the last time. I'm not that old per se, whatever, but I mean, before that was Al and Wolf and everything like that. They got a young brain trust. You know what I'm saying? And,
yeah, they do. They do.
First time ever. So yeah, they doing their thing. I'm excited to see football. Football, my favorite sport, by the way. Even though I play hoop and all that, but I love football.
And I want to say one thing about that Kenny Pickett pick to the Steelers. Remember, we did a show some time back. I was saying he's the most solid quarterback as far as being ready to play in the NFL. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe Trubisky may start. You know what I mean? I think Malik Willis has a great upside, but it's just like it's a gamble. You know what I mean? Kenny Pickett is a safe bet. The only thing they have to say bad about him is he has small hands.
That don't mean a damn thing.
But they said his hands grew a half inch, but didn't smash his hand with a hammer and shit.
No, they be getting all the massages and whatnot. No, one name that really surprised me that didn't get called, and people want to forget about him, was Justin Ross, that receiver out of Clemson. He went undrafted. You know what I'm saying? Just a season or two ago, they listed him as the number one receiver coming out.
They found him with a dead body in the trunk or something. Shit.
He got injured. And that's why
injury.
And same thing. And that's the same thing with Zamir White. People forget Zamir White tore both of his ACLs. You know what I'm saying? That's why he fell in the draft. Otherwise, he would have been second, third.
And I'm liking him. He a straight country boy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We don't do nothing but play football, eat, go to sleep, and play football.
What's your plan B?
Those are the kinds you want.
Plan B. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we're gonna keep this one pushing. I sent you guys an article, and it was on Outkick.com. It was an article by this guy named Haley Ryman, and he had a complaint that Deshaun Watson gets to play, but Trevor Bauer is still suspended. Now, I read the article, and then there was some video also that went with this article, and I take so much sense to this, because the dude is basically, he's comparing apples and oranges, obviously, but I mean, you walk down a very thin line, when you start talking about abuse of women and he say, she say, all this type of stuff. But I broke this down a long time when it comes to Deshaun Watson. I won't go through every single charge with him because we know there was his case is messy. You know what I mean? You got the team owner's best friend who's a lawyer representing the girls. You got the FBI freaking investigating the girls and not Deshaun Watson because of the girls' activity, extortion, all kinds of just mess when it came to him. Which is why I feel that, like the DA, they never pressed charges. They never even looked at anything. Nothing ever criminal came against him because there was nothing criminal. It was just, a horny young dude doing what he does because he has money. That's how I looked at it. Now, I flipped over to the Trevor Bauer thing, and I looked, and I was just like, man, obviously this guy likes rough sex. It's put out there. He said that. You know what I'm saying? And when you get into that, you're going to, that line is very blurry, But when a girl shows up to a police station, when she shows up, to a hospital with bruises on her face and scratches on her back and claims to be sodomized and this, that, and the other, where she didn't tell. She didn't go and say, hey, this guy named Trevor Bauer did this to me. The hospital's like, hey, we're mandated reporters. We need to find it. We need to tell the police who did this to you. So she told the hospital told the police, and that's how his thing goes down. And this guy, Haley Ryman, has a issue that Deshaun Watson got paid last year for not playing football. He was like, hey, this guy, he got paid last year and, he never got suspended, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, look, last year was a paid suspension. Don't get it twisted. You know, the guy he was perfectly healthy. He could have played football. They opted not to play him. That's a damn suspension. You know what I'm saying? And Trevor Bauer got paid $38 million last year not to pitch while he was going through this. So I don't want to hear that. And I hate that media, how they try to like the balance of justice, the scales just aren't even. You know what I mean? The black dude is always a demon, the white cat always skates away. You know what I mean? And we know that's how it is, but it's just like, man, one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of do this show is so, as small as we are now, this show is going to grow because we're going to keep on doing it. We're going to find different avenues. We're going to expand, and our voices are going to count. You know what I'm saying? And that bullshit that they pull in with this, you know, mainstream media, all this stuff, how they're trying to spin it. Deshaun Watson is the devil, and, you know, Trevor Bauer should be able to play too type of stuff. We're going to stop all that. We're going to stop that right here, you know. That's my spiel on that. I want to get everybody's take, but I want to start off especially with Raider Lady 19. She is a lady, as in her title.
Right.
I know you have a lot to say about this. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Let me see what you
I
got.
don't like sexual deviance in no way, period. So I just don't, you know. I got 2 young men. I'm raising 2 young men. And I don't like sexual deviance. So I slap, you know, Watson on the wrist and this Bauer do whatever the case may be. But anybody got a problem, be a problem with the organizations. And I mean the professional organizations, NFL versus MLB. MLB brought this down on him. This ain't got nothing to do with no courtroom. This ain't got nothing to do with none of that. That's the organization looking out for their best interests. And so they saying we don't want to play around. They don't want to go through what they went through with Ray Rice and all this other stuff that been going on from year, dude from San Francisco body slam this girl, all that stuff. You know, you got your old boy on the phone with his girlfriend. You better be scared of me too. They don't want none of that.
Oh yeah, that's Tyreek, right?
Yeah. You better be scared of me too. So they don't want none of that. So they make an example out of him. They ain't got nothing to do with Deshaun Watson.
Exactly.
You know, it just don't. So I agree with you, what you're saying, how, you know, media create narratives, and we just living in a hyperbolic as sensitive environment these days, and especially, you know, when it comes to race relations, you know what it is. And but yeah, if anybody got a problem, be mad at MLB. Go holler at them. Go talk to their players organizations. Go talk to them. Go talk to the boss.
Go talk to Manfred.
Yeah, exactly. Go talk to the Mitch. Go get a quote from him.
All
right. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay, I like that. Short, sweet, and very concise. All right, architect, what you think about it?
Man, I think
give me that young man perspective.
Realistically, I think, you know what I'm saying, if you got, obviously the girl, she wasn't trying to say anything, but then at the same time, she tried to get a restraining order put on dude, and they denied it. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever if, you know, someone's the victim and they try to get a restraining order, it gets denied, like, for real. Like, and it wasn't like, it didn't take a minute. It happened quick. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Trevor Bauer, people know Trevor Bauer being this pitcher. He done got paid a shit ton of money. You know what I'm saying? He trying to, I guess, brush it under a rug to a certain degree. But I mean, shit, you can't get mad when your dirt get brought to light. You know what I'm saying? And even with the article, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Deshaun Watson, you know what I'm saying? You trying to compare Deshaun Watson to Trevor Bauer. There weren't really any details, like extreme details, like how it was with Trevor Bauer as to Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? It would came out and said, you know what I'm saying, the girl was choked. She was, you know, beat almost unconscious and shit like that. Like, bro, you deserve to get suspended. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care.
She was actually choked unconscious.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the same thing had happened to Deshaun Watson, then by all means, yeah,
that's
bro.
assault.
Yeah, exactly. If the same thing would have happened to Deshaun Watson, that man would have been thrown under the jail.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, yeah, bro, take them 2 years, them 324 games. You're not allowed to play. The MLB, that's what they chose to do. The NFL, the Houston Texans, they chose, all right, we just gonna pay Deshaun Watson. Your ass can sit at home or do whatever you want. Like, you're just not gonna be here. You're not gonna be in Houston. Basically, you're not gonna be a part of the organization. Okay, cool. Deshaun Watson got out. It looks like for the foreseeable future, he'll be able to play in the NFL. Cool. Trevor Bauer, you got to handle this shit, bro. You knocking girls unconscious. I'm surprised your ass, you know what I'm saying? If you was a different skin tone, who's to say you wouldn't be in jail right now? You should be lucky that you only got suspended for 2 years.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, they still might pay you. It really depends on what the MLB wants to do going forward. He still might get paid through those 2 years of suspension. I was just reading that shit today. It's really, even still, before they made the suspension final, he still got paid $40 million. You know what I'm saying? You'll be all right,
Exactly.
Trevor Bauer. You'll be all right. Take the suspension. You shouldn't have did what you did. If you're gonna do these things, you probably shouldn't be famous because it's all gonna come out eventually.
Yeah. Cold thing about it is he's gonna appeal the suspension and it's not gonna be 2 years.
Exactly. He'll probably get a year, if that.
Maybe half.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, shit. It's like in the MLB, as long as you don't do steroids, you be okay.
Yeah. That depends on who you are. Because if you're Big Poppy, then it is okay. But anyway, we'll move on to
That's right.
Raider Mike. What you got on it, man?
Like I said, there are two different people, two different crimes. Well, two different crimes happening. One was a non-contact crime and one was a contact crime. Trevor Bauer, let me just get on that one. How do you feel you're gonna get off on that? I mean, you can't. The girl went to hospital. Everything is documented. The bruises, they probably, they took pictures.
Yep.
Everything. All of that stuff is documented, and you can't hide from that. You just take your medicine. He's gonna appeal it. He's gonna get a year. He's gonna get a year off and still get paid. You know what I'm saying? He just needs to just go on. And for the guy who was so upset, how he thinking. He's comparing the blacks to the white because the privilege thing, because they're privileged. Well, in this case, they could not pass up and give him a pass. He can't be the privileged person this time. Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, is still not privileged because let me tell you this about Deshaun Watson. He get all those 22 counts, but no charges for anything, right? So let me tell you this. You think that Roger Goodell is going to let him not get suspended for a few games right after this guy got suspended for 2 years? Did you know the good old boys is already probably calling him, emailing him? The good old boys is emailing him, talking to him. They said, if you don't suspend him for a few games, we're going to burn something on your yard. We're going to do something to you. No, he's going to be suspended. I don't know how many games, but I'm just waiting for it to happen because you know how it is. We, just like when OJ got off, we all black people was all jumping off in the streets. Everybody, that was a major, that was a major victory, right? Now we got a major victory. We did. Everybody can't say that they weren't out there happy when OJ got off. So I don't care what they say. He got off. Now Deshaun Watson is clear, crystal clean. Just like you said, all of his was guilty of being a sex addict, and then had money to do so and to get those women. He didn't rape them. He didn't choke them out. He didn't beat them up, knock them unconscious. He was just doing what a young man always does. He was soaking his oils. That's all he was doing. That's all he was doing. That's all he did.
Hey, you continue with what you're gonna say. Just let me interject this real quick. Now, let me interject this real quick. What this female said about Trevor Bauer. She said she said he punched her in the face, he punched her in the vagina, he scratched her face, and he sodomized her.
Wow.
Let me tell you what was that fool Charles Manson? That was Charlie Manson. Well, my thing is he deserved everything that he got. I mean, the crime fits the time. That's it. Bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah, crime fit the time. He said he punched her in the face and sodomized
but he should be in jail. But it don't fit the crime. But hey, he's privileged, so he's gonna get off on time on that.
He's so cocky.
He should be in jail for what he's done. But the girl didn't press charges on him. Remember, she pressed no charges. So see, if that had been one of us, man, the DA would have got that man. He would have took it and ran. They'll pick it up, say, I'm picking this up. Say, like what's the name on the song? Some money hit the ground, pick it up, pick it up. The girl jaw hit the ground, pick it up, pick it up. That'd have been somebody black. Come on. Let's just be real here. The DA would have picked that up. You know, they still pick that kind of, that's domestic violence to the highest degree. And why didn't that get picked up?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I have to say about it. It's a mystery to me how he ain't getting no criminal charges and they ain't even picked that up. That was wrong what he did.
Exactly. And concur 100%. The man really should be in jail. He should be lucky, but the privilege part of the whole thing, him getting paid the 38 million not to play while he's going through this, and him having the nerve to kind of throw it out there like I did absolutely nothing
he's like,
wrong.
He's a victim.
Don't worry, next year they'll bring up Kobe's case. So
exactly. You know
he's a victim, like he was a victim.
Exactly. But that's a tough one, but these type of things need to be talked about from a different perspective, because the perspective that we get in mainstream media is really not what the average person out here is thinking, But
I mean, are they talking that? Just real quick, are they talking that talk? How, like, literally he sodomized her and beat her? Is that the conversation?
See that conversation is going on social media type outlets. Okay, but when you get to ESPN is not saying that. You know what I mean? And that's with a purpose. ESPN, Fox News.
Is Stephen A talking it?
Never. Come on.
Nope. He's still a good old, he's
punk.
One of the boys too.
He a punk.
He is. Yeah. He's a prop.
Exactly.
He's like I told you about him. He's a prop with his hairline going all the way back to Mississippi.
Yeah. Yeah, we ain't gonna get into the leather wig, Yeah. But we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna go a little local tonight. Like I said last week, I did my little disappearing act because my buddy was in town. Hadn't seen him in a while, J.R. Ryder. And my man, Raider Mike, had a good idea. It was like, there's a narrative out there about Jay as far as like being a bad dude once he kind of got in the league. A lot of bad articles about him. A lot of negative things spewed. But, Mike and I, we had a bird's eye view of just watching this cat in person grow up. So the person that they kind of talked about mainstream media, we didn't know that guy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know the tough guy, troublemaker type dude. I knew a good dude. You know what I'm saying? And really the most phenomenal athlete I ever got to be around up close and personal. So, I'll let Raider Mike lead it off, talk about some of these here stories, and then we'll talk a little bit maybe about some little local cats for a hot second, just as far as being able to touch greatness before it's great, Raider Mike, lead us off, man.
Well, like I said, all that stuff they talked about him in Sports Illustrated. The only thing bad that I don't have never anything bad to say about him. The only thing I know, he had 5 candy bars. They asked him for a little piece of that candy bar. Jay loved his little candy bar, so you wouldn't get none of the candy bar. But other than that, that was the only thing. Everything else that they say is just forget all that. He was young, having money, and and that's all it was. He's having fun. But the thing is how, like I said, when I knew J.R. Ryder was going pro, I'd see his father out there having to shoot 100 free throws, 100 jumpers, 100 layups, and just working on his defense, working on his footwork, working on all that stuff his father was teaching him is how I knew he was one of the reasons how I knew he was going to go pro. And then his supernatural strength. He had more strength than all of us. He had a different gear. And what I mean by that is we were playing Pop Warner. Let me tell you how strong this young man was. He was only, if I was 13, Jared was 11. And Coach Mack was a running backs coach at the time. We was playing for the Alameda Braves. Hey,
I know where you going.
But shout out Pat Pauls. And then when he said JR was running with the ball kind of, loose, he said, well, you know what? You're not going to never be able to carry the ball like that. They're going to take the ball from you. And JR said, well, show me how you hold the ball. And he tried to take the ball out of JR's hand with one hand. He couldn't do it. He used 2 hands. He couldn't take the ball from an 11-year-old. This is a grown man. And the only way he got him and he still didn't drop the ball. He threw him on the ground. And JR jumped back up and said, man, I was like, that's how I knew. That was one of the ways I knew how he was going pro. And another way was because J.R. Ryder could have went pro in any sport he wanted to play, hands down. But when he was in the Bull in the Ring in the football thing, getting punished in the 9th grade, he was handling everybody. Even my brother came and hit him, and he still stayed on his feet. And I was like, man, this boy could go. This cat right here can go pro in that. Baseball, like you said, Greg, I'm gonna let you say that one. I'm gonna let you do that part. But you know, when he's in 15-year-old All-Stars, what he did. But I'll let you do that one. But the other thing was baseball. He could have went pro in baseball, football, or basketball. I've seen he probably is the best athlete in Alameda, probably ever, him or Cornell Childs. Well, it could be Cornell Childs probably to me, if he would have just kept himself right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cornell could have went pro in any one of those sports. Cornell was Deion Sanders, Ricky Henderson, and you got to give it to him. He was a little bit of an Iverson, maybe a little bit too, because his boy was fast. I mean, had handled Cornell Childs. But anyway, we're talking about JR, but we can say that for last. But I just believe that J.R. Ryder was the best athlete that I saw play. I mean, that who could have played football. He could have been a linebacker in football or safety or wide receiver. Shoot, heck, he could have been all kind of positions in base football. He could have been a quarterback if he wanted to. That's how good I think he is, because he had the arm. The arm strength was tremendous. And that's all. I mean, I want to say too much, because I know you got some of the stuff that you want to say. So I'm not gonna steal your little thunder on that, because you was playing with him on that one. So, but my thing, I played with him in football. I played with him in Park League basketball, to know that I knew he was going pro when he was in 8th grade. So that's when I just knew it. I said, this kid can probably, if they would have allowed him, he could have went pro right after high school. You know, I think he could have. He was that good, and he I think he could have, but that's all. I'm gonna give him a shine,
Okay. Well, like you said, I had firsthand accounts. Me and Jay the same age, so we played in the same all-star teams, played the same football teams, baseball team, all that. So, just real quick, because my favorite story I want to say for the end. But one, like, nobody on our team could catch him when we played Park League baseball. I used to hate it because I played center field, and when Jay would pitch, like your cousin Robert would be catching, and after the first or second pitch, Robert would just throw the glove off, like, oh, his hand hurt, he hurt his thumb. I'd be like, God dang it. So I'd have to go catch Jay. But the thing was, every inning he threw 9 pitches. No one would have to, not half, 3/4 the guys would not swing at a damn ball. The ball would just come right down the middle of the plate, but it would be coming so fast, and Jay was so big, no one would ever swing. So I was just like, I cast the ball for 9 pitches, each inning be over. Simple, but a lot of the parents would be mad, like, oh, he shouldn't be allowed to pitch or whatever, like, he's 20 years old, but
he wasn't like that dude who lied about his age now.
Yeah, exactly. But Jay was just that good, man. And then, of course, he made the All-Stars every year. They won the World Series one year. And then, one of my other favorite stories is we played football. I was a quarterback. Jay played tight end, and he was free safety this game. We played North Salinas at their house. Man, Jay came up. The dude, tight end, caught the ball. Jay hit him. It sounded like a damn M80 went off in the stadium. It was just helmet to helmet, and you just heard it, and it's just like, damn. And that dude disappeared for the rest of the game. We didn't see him. Then after the game, he's shaking hands after the game. We're going down, and the dude is like, oh, where's number 5, whatever. I think that was Jay's number. And then Jay's like, right here. And he's like, oh, man, you broke my jaw, man. And you know what I mean? He was just dynamic at everything. But this, aside from the sports stuff, one thing was just so funny. Okay, PE one time. Me and Jay bullshitting, not trying to really get down to PE. We have to play tennis. And in this tennis, we have to play doubles. And they had us playing doubles against 2 varsity tennis players, right? And these 2 varsity tennis players, very cocky, and they were like, looking at us like, we got to play the 2 black guys, whatever. It was kind of like that little setting. And it was kind of funny because we weren't tripping. We really weren't. We like, damn, we don't get to play basketball today? Whatever. So these two dudes, they serving, and one serves it, it's cocky. He come over the top, and it's like a nice little tennis serve. I'm back there, I hit it, but I'm like, not really hitting it. And Jay looked at me like, "Gee, what's up?" I'm like, "What's up?" He like we really want to play these dudes because the tennis dudes are like cocky, like, "Oh, let's get them out of here." So I'm like, "All right." So we get down. So we start playing. Boom. So everything's forehand. Nobody, me and Jay, we can't hit no backhands, man. That's next level tennis. So he's just athletic. When you're an athlete, you can just circle around and boom. So, man, these dudes, they're getting upset because me and Jay start getting with them. Now, when we serving, our serve is whatever. Jay's, he coming over the top a little bit. I'm kind of like underhand serving it, whatever. But whenever they coming back to us, we can hit anything that they serve over that net. So bottom line, we wound up beating them, and it was so funny that them two dudes was fighting with each other, and me and Jay was sitting there laughing. And that's just like it's one of those things where ideal athleticism or elite athleticism could just beat anything. And Jay gave you that confidence. And that was the thing when we played basketball, baseball, football, playing with somebody like that, leading you, you feel like you could do anything. And my big thing with him at our high school in Sanel, he's not in the Hall of Fame. And to me, that Hall of Fame is not legit unless he's in it. Now, they might try to say it's a technicality because he didn't necessarily graduate from there because he graduated from somewhere else. But the thing is, where do we call call everything legit and not cut lines? Because everybody's holier than thou. I'll never forget when he was a senior, there was a teacher that came to me and another player on the basketball team and said, "Hey, look, if I give Jay this C in this health class, he'll be eligible to play basketball. But if I give him the D, he won't be able to play." Now, for that teacher to come to two students and say that, I'm like, man, you're already crossing the line. We shouldn't be privy to any of this information. But me and Tim were like, well, since you're coming to us, well, why aren't you going to give him the C so he could play? You know what I mean? And the teacher was like, I can't do it. He misses 20 classes,
What's the point of telling y'all then?
Exactly. I was just like, and he had like 69%, or he could have just gave him one more point and gave him a C. And I don't want to throw the teacher under the bus, although I want to so bad. But I was just like, now that's some bullshit because they want to be on the tech.
He knew he was destined. He knew he was destined for greatness, and so
he's trying to stop
he took that opportunity to have his little power in his hand. That's real.
Go ahead. Go ahead, expose him.
Nah,
he ain't teaching no more.
But anyway, but that's what I'm saying. The technicality is, he didn't graduate from there. But how are you going to be technical when you got there's ethics across the board that aren't being adhered to? You know what I'm saying? But to me, everybody knows he's the greatest. NCNL has great athletes that came there. You got Jimmy Rollins, you got Willie Sargent, who the field is named after. You got Dontrell Willis. You know what I mean? You got just people, Kyle White, my boy. You got people up and down, and none of them are the athlete Jay was. Not even in the same ballpark. Jimmy Rollins is a great baseball player, right? But he's not in the same ballpark athlete as Jay. And I guarantee you, if you talk to him, he would tell you that because athletes kind of keep it real. But that's my spiel. Put that man in that Hall of Fame. Stop bullshitting.
I didn't know he wasn't. I'm on the boosters thing. I'm gonna have to bring that up.
Yeah, I think you might want to, man.
I'm gonna say no. If he ain't in there, you need to take everybody else off there except for Willie Stargell, and you better put him in there because these other people that's in. If he ain't in there, David Ryder not in there, Cornell not in there, Jesse not in there. What the hell are we doing here?
Exactly. And there's a common theme with that. All West Side boys, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. And Raider Lady 19, I'm sure you got some local talk to get down on.
For real. I mean, I grew up watching you guys. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So JR, watching him play at UNLV as a youngster who, played all those sports. I played tennis, I played hoop. played softball. And watching you, him, y'all whole crew, how y'all got down. That actually, told me to do everything, just play it, do it all. And so to be able to see him be drafted, number 5 overall, I remember in '93. So that was a lot of pride, because I knew he was connected to my family, and I was like, that's what's up. And so, and just watching him play, man, JR was that dude. He was that dude. He wasn't afraid of nobody. He took it right to you. He just represented what you're supposed to do out there. He did it with the swag before swag was popular. You know what I'm saying? So East Bay Funk Dunk, he for real. Like, he was the swag before swag was a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. I'm serious. Like, '93, think about that. NBA was still very straight lace and cut. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was that, like, one of them first cats that came out was like, from the Bay, and he was doing his thing. And so, we hear the stories. He pulled over, he sleep at the wheel, all that. What like Mike said, he learned in life. So we knew about that. He played for my Lakers, and that was a beautiful thing to see. I was fired up when he came to the Lake Show, playing with young Kobe and all that. So now JR is a he a symbol for the Bay. He, like, to me, he represents the young Bay, like us Gen X's, if I want to put it like that. He was all that, and he was everything. He was all like we said, him, J Kid, them was the cats that I looked up to, and yourself included, Greg, when I was, when I as aspiring. So I think he don't get enough credit. He don't get enough credit. To me, cats like, I'm from Oakland, born and raised in Oakland. So yeah, cats like Hook Mitchell to me get more respect than JR. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, JR went to the league. He was the 5th overall pick. Like, regardless of what adversity, he did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like, he need to be in the Bay Area Hall of Fame, all that.
Yep. I like that.
But you know why, Greg? That man went to a college in Kansas City, went to a college in LA, went to UNLV, and still made it. Yeah. And it was a lottery pick. You remember all them two junior colleges he went to? Remember, he went to Kansas City to graduate high school.
Come on, man. I remember he Cook County. No. And then
none of us could beat him, and none of us could beat him in a game of 21. That's it.
I did. What are you talking about?
And just shout out, my sister used to put me on the phone with him when I was a youngster, because she was like, my sister played ball. She played just like you. And so I had, so that all that, just getting to talk to him on the phone, that meant something for me. That was big for me. And so, he didn't even have to do that. So, and that dude deserved his due.
Yeah, I believe so. Definitely too. And then Architect, I know you done heard all the stories throughout the year. You know what I mean? So
let me go ahead and sit up. Let me talk my spiel on good old JR, man. Look, I was born in '96. JR was drafted in '93 to Minnesota. Now, from the time I can remember till now, I've never stopped hearing the stories of the famous JR Rider. You know what I'm saying? And even so, to a point where when I really started watching basketball and I really started getting on the internet, and YouTube became such a thing, I started looking up highlights right off the rip. And still to this day, my favorite highlight, and it's funny as hell, because when I would play basketball with my homies when I was younger, I tried to do the same thing. He crossed up Willie Anderson when he was on the Timberwolves, and he had a little stutter step and smiled at him when he fell on the ground and then shot it, right? I used to try and do that to my friends, that same stutter step, right? Not even my friends looking like, Greg, what the hell are you doing? You know what I'm saying? But not knowing that, you know what I'm saying? Growing up, like they were talking about the Gary Paytons and the Damian Lillards and all that other players coming up from the Bay. I'm like, look, man, at the end of the day, man, I know very first player that I ever heard of, as far as making it out of the Bay, it wasn't even Jason Kidd. It was JR. You feel me? Hearing my pops, hearing all my uncles and aunts, everybody in my family talk about how good of a player JR was. and then actually seeing it for myself as far as watching the highlights, you know what I'm saying, watching old interviews. I even watched this podcast where Kevin Garnett was on it, and he was talking about JR, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And obviously everybody knows who Kevin Garnett is, but I'm like, even Kevin Garnett was like, no, JR was a hell of a player. You feel me? Like, I think people don't understand as far as people coming from the Bay. There's a whole lot of butt crab in a bucket mentality for one of us to make it out and to see people gather around him and be like, damn, like he's great. That goes such a long way. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I never really paid attention to other players that coming out of the Bay outside of really Damian Lillard because he's more so my age bracket. But again, man, JR was just different, man. You know what I'm saying? At one point, I think I saw something about Kobe saying that was his favorite dunker. You know what I'm saying? The East Bay Funk dunk. Everybody talks about that. Everybody has seen that fucking ridiculous ass shot of him falling out of bounds, him tossing that thing and it going in. You know what I'm saying? We have these moments of JR, and people like to say, people want to have their own narrative because obviously the media likes to say certain things about players and whatnot. But if you look at it, man, JR, he not only was, you know, a good NBA player, but he was also what do you think? If you look at a Damian Lillard, I've heard Damian Lillard talk about Isaiah Ryder next to Gary Payton and Jason Kidd and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's other young kids, especially growing up in the Bay, knowing who J.R. Ryder is, who Isaiah Ryder is, not just because of what the media portrayed him as, just because of what, you know what I'm saying, hearsay, people, you know what I'm saying, from y'all generation talking about him, seeing highlights and stuff like that, hearing their favorite player, you know what I'm saying, at one point was JR. You know what I'm saying? Like, even, I think, shit, people tend to forget also he was all rookie. The man won a championship, man. You can't take that away from nobody. Man won a championship. You know what I'm saying? He played for the Lakers. That's one of the greatest franchises in history. The man you know what I'm saying? The man averaged 16, almost 17, 18 points in the NBA. That is difficult to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To score in the NBA, and he did it. And not only that, all the highlights that I watched JR, all the highlights that I've ever watched, he always did it with a smile. Like, he had fun. That's what made basketball. That's what attracted me to basketball too. I love watching players who look like they're having fun, and JR had fun. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, he wasn't afraid to rep the Bay. Like, bro, represent that. Kids, like, no matter what, kids they're always gonna have that one player that they look up to, whether it be hometown, whatever. Especially having one from the hometown that's like repping the Bay. You feel me? Like, obviously growing up in the late 90s to the early 2000s, I got to witness some of it as far as JR. But then, you know, that sprinkled down to Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? And Damian Lillard, you see it too. That man wearing number 0 to represent Oakland. You know what I'm saying? It's contagious when you see somebody from the Bay doing their thing, man. It's crazy. It inspires so much because you already know people from the Bay, they slaught us not to make it out the gate. But then, you know what I'm saying, you have players like JR who made it possible, who made it to where you could look at, you know, back in the day or even currently and be like, okay, he made it, I could do it too. You know what I'm saying? And that don't even necessarily mean sports. That could be inspiration on so many different levels. Just seeing somebody make it out.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think JR should be in the NCAA Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? People even still, like, when UNLV, I watched highlights of him in college. Yeah. Bro was a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, I don't know. I think obviously because you know, he wasn't one of these perennial all-stars and all that, blah, 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 blow it out of proportion. Man was still a hell of a player, man. Give that man his flowers.
Man, he had a 5-year run that can stack up against anybody.
He could have been an all-star player. He should have been an all-star player a few of those years because he might have averaged, his career average might have been 18 poants, but that's not how many
That's what I'm saying. He would drop.
He averaged 21 or 20 points or better.
He would. That man
he should have made it over Eddie Jones at least one of them years. I know that.
Yeah, but and then what else did he do? There's something else that he did that nobody else went to jail. Well, I'll think about it in a minute. But I done lost hearing all this talk. I done lost my train of thought.
And bottom line, man, put that man in the Hall of Fame, put him in the Bay Area Hall of Fame, give that man his just due. And I'm gonna let my compadres sign off on this one, man. We are an hour and a half in. We had a nice little run tonight. So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and start signing off.
All right. It's your boy Raider Mike. About to sign out. I'm out. So love, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you got to do to survive. That's what I got to say.
That's right. Raider lady checking out, signing out. It was always good. Bills are excellent. We're going to do it again every week. So stay tuned. We're going to keep going up.
Yes, it's your boy, the Young Architect, man. Hey, never lose inspiration, man. You can only go as far as you want to. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say.
All right. And I am Big G. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Join us again next week. We're going to try to keep it fresh, keep it new, and keep it funky. All right, everybody. Enjoy your evening.